Hi, I'm Caleb Giddings from Gun Nuts Media, and today's video we're going to be talking about a subject that used to be near and dear to my heart, but isn't something I've really talked about in a long time, and that is pocket pistols. I said pocket pistols, get your minds out of the gutter. What makes a gun a pocket pistol? Well, it's a gun that fits in your pocket. Now, obviously, if you have sufficiently large pockets, you could carry something like a Glock 19 or a Beretta in your pocket. But that's really not what we're talking about in this instance. We're talking about guns like this Beretta Tomcat, a 32 caliber pistol, small enough that you can easily conceal it with the entirety of the palm of your hand and put it in your pocket using a pocket holster. Now, interestingly, I used to be a big advocate for pocket pistols because they fulfilled that first rule of gunfighting, which is have a gun. However, a lot of that changed, and it changed gradually. I actually had to employ a pocket pistol once. I had to draw one and point it at a potential attacker. I didn't have to fire, but I had to get the gun out. It took forever to get the gun out. As the years passed and as I got better and better at concealing handguns, I became less and less a fan of the pocket pistol. I became less a fan of it because I also wasn't working in an environment where I had to wear a tucked in shirt into khaki pants, which can make concealing a full-size handgun difficult. So I'm at a point now as a shooter where I don't see a lot of utility in pocket pistols. But what I decided to do was take two pocket pistols, an old school pocket pistol and a relatively modern pocket pistol, out to the range and shoot them and see what would happen. All right, so what we're doing is we're just testing these two pocket pistols, a 1935 Beretta and a Beretta 32 Tomcat. The 1935 Beretta used to be considered a service pistol, which is shocking considering the fact that it has sights that barely exist, controls that are extremely difficult to use, and a trigger that kind of sucks. But it's still cool because it's a 1935 Beretta. Now I'm loading up the magazine here for the 32 Tomcat. The Tomcat has a neat loading method where instead of having to rack the slide to put a round in the chamber, you simply press a button on the side of the gun, the barrel pops up, and you place the round into the chamber, close the barrel, and then you're ready to go. I'll demonstrate that here in a second. It's also nice because it can safely be decocked because the barrel's up. So with the barrel up, all right, barrel's closed, barrel's back up. Now all I have to do to load it is drop a round in, and I'm ready to fire. Let's take a look at how the Tomcat runs. So on the 7th round, I had a failure to feed. This can be corrected by simply running the slide, but that's a difficult malfunction to fix if you're under real stressful situations. Here, I'm trying to fire 5 headshots at 7 yards as fast as possible. This is difficult considering the vestigial sights on the pocket gun, and then a serious malfunction occurs on the 5th round. Obviously, that performance in a life or death situation would be, well, it would be less than ideal. And you can see I'm not very happy with it. Now, I follow that up by shooting the 1935 Beretta just for giggles, I guess. At this point, though, it is important to remember that when you have a gun like this, the sights are small, the controls are small. This is typical of modern pocket guns as well. The sights suck and the controls suck, so the gun's not going to be easy to fire effectively. And when you're dealing with calibers that aren't as effective as 9mm, shot placement becomes even more important. And again, the small sights and difficult trigger made it hard to shoot well. As you saw in the test video, the Beretta Tomcat, which is one of my favorite guns to shoot, it's one of my favorite pocket guns as a collectible, experienced a severe malfunction. That's not ideal, obviously, in a defensive handgun, considering I fired 25 rounds through that gun that day and it had a malfunction with regular FMJ ammo. That's not what you want in your defensive gun. That being said, that doesn't mean that pocket pistols have zero utility. All right, there is a place for the pocket gun. Now, there is a debate that we will discuss on whether or not you should carry a pocket semi-automatic or a pocket-sized revolver, and I'll get to that in a minute. However, what I want to talk about with pocket pistols, with guns like this 32 caliber Beretta or guns like a Ruger LCP, is where they fit into the spectrum of concealed carry. And for me, and the way I recommend them is I recommend these guns if you are in a situation where it is absolutely, completely impractical for you to carry a reasonably sized, reasonably powerful handgun. If you're going to a place that you know you will not be able to safely conceal, and this is the thing, when we're talking about non-permissive environments, some non-permissive environments, if you're caught carrying a gun, you can go to prison. Some non-permissive environments, if you're caught carrying a gun, you'll be asked to leave. There's a different level of risk associated with these types of NPEs. You need to decide what level of risk is acceptable to you. But let's say you're going to an NPE that has a high level of risk that is in your acceptability range, but you still want to be armed with a firearm for some reason. Nothing conceals better than a pocket handgun. Nothing. This Beretta 32 that you just saw me fire conceals very, very well in a pocket holster. You put this in a pocket holster and it looks like a phone in your pocket. It looks like a wallet. It looks like any of the things that normal people carry around in their pockets day in and day out, and you don't have to worry about people seeing a strange square shape in your pockets and thinking he has a gun, all right? You just don't. And that for me is the greatest possible utility that you get from pocket guns. That's where they make sense, is that it does allow you to carry a gun, albeit not a super reliable or super powerful gun, but it is a gun. It counts. It is better than a sharp stick in the eye. Now we can have a whole discussion here about whether or not in that situation you'd be better suited with pepper spray, with good hands-on skills and stuff like that, but that's not this conversation. This conversation is specifically about, is there a utility for pocket guns? And I believe that the answer is yes, but it's limited. It's very small. And now the other part of that equation is, which would I rather have? A pocket semi-automatic like the Beretta Tomcat or the Ruger LCP, or a pocket revolver? Now, the way I have this J-frame set up, it is not suitable for pocket carry because this long crimson trace grip renders the gun too big to effectively conceal in most pockets. It will conceal in some, but most pockets are not going to accommodate a full-length crimson trace revolver grip. That's fine. Now, if you did have this gun and you wanted to set it up for pocket carry, you can get boot grips. They're very short. They work much better than the crimson trace grip. When we're talking about pocket pistols, again, I like pocket-sized guns. They have some unique niches that they fit into. If you told me I could only carry a gun that would fit in my pocket and I had to choose between a Beretta Tomcat or a Ruger LCP, or does anybody else make pocket guns that I would actually buy? No. A Beretta Tomcat or a Ruger LCP or a Smith & Wesson J-frame revolver made out of unobtainium or some extremely lightweight metal like this one, I'm going to take the revolver. I'm going to take the revolver every time because the things that you see with pocket pistols, like what you saw in the video where the magazine caused the round to fail to feed properly, don't occur in small compact revolvers. That's not to say revolvers don't jam, and it's not to say revolvers are perfectly reliable, but in the sorts of environments where I would want to carry a pocket pistol, I believe a revolver better fits my needs. So, what's the bottom line here? I like pocket pistols. I still do. I don't carry one. I haven't carried one for years and years and years. I still have a couple. I like them. They're fun to shoot, and they're nice to have to remind me of the fact that not everyone can carry an M9 Beretta concealed all day. But the bottom line for me is, if I'm choosing between a pocket pistol and a small, lightweight, easily concealed revolver, I'm picking the revolver every time. I'm Caleb Giddings. Until next time, remember, run your gun, not your mouth.